Okay, we'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. Mr. Stewart, please mark all members present with the exception of Mr. Armbruster. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. You have before you the minutes from the last meeting on September the 23rd. A motion's in order for those minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as is.
All right, second?
Second.
All right, motion been made and second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Mr. Stewart, will you please give us your first request of the evening, please?
Yes, sir. Our first request is from Mr. Fred Ramsey, who owns the Garzelli's Pub and Pizza. And he's looking for a conditional use permit to construct an outdoor dining area for his new location at 3160 Dixie Highway. The site's located on Dixie Highway near the intersection of Montgomery Drive and Dixie Highway, and currently has multiple tenants in 2 buildings in the shopping center. The property to the northwest is the railroad right-of-way. The properties to the southwest have a manufacturing business and a convenience store with fuel pumps. Properties to the southeast have a sports training center, car wash, and 2 restaurants. And the properties to the northeast have manufacturing businesses and a flooring retail store. The subject property and the properties to the southwest, southeast, and a flooring retail store are within the neighborhood commercial zone, and the remaining properties to the northwest and northeast are in the industrial park 1 zone. The neighborhood commercial zone permits a variety of retail and personal service uses. The zone also conditionally permits auto repair shops with some conditions, pet hotels, tattoo parlors, and outdoor dining areas with some conditions. Per Direction 2030, the area-wide comprehensive plan adopted by the Kent County Planning Commission in September 2014, the recommended land use plan identifies the reference site and the retail stores as commercial uses. The manufacturing and railroad properties are identified as industrial uses. The applicant is proposing to open a restaurant and construct an outdoor dining area to the rear of the reference address. Section 10.16C2 states that an outdoor dining area is conditionally permitted provided the area meets the following requirements. Such area should be designed to clearly identify the limits of the outdoor seating area, which shall not include any drive-through facility. Such area should not exceed 25% of the maximum seating capacity of the indoor seating area. Entertainment, music, and sound amplifying systems shall not be permitted within the outdoor seating areas. Such areas should not be permitted to locate within any minimum front, side, or rear yard, except where a variance has been approved by the Board of Adjustments. If the outdoor seating areas are to be located within 340 feet of any residence, then the seating area shall be operated no later than 10 o'clock on Sunday through Thursday p.m. and 11 o'clock p.m. on Friday and Saturday. The applicant's been aware of that a barrier shall be installed to identify the limits of this outdoor seating area. He's also been made aware of the maximum seating area of the outdoor space and that the entertainment, music, and sound amplifying systems are prohibited within this outdoor seating area. The minimum rear yard setback line is 15 feet in the neighborhood commercial zone. The outdoor seating area will be approximately 60 feet from the rear property line. The outdoor seating area exceeds the remaining property line setbacks, and the closest residence is approximately 585 feet from the proposed outdoor seating area. KRS 100.2373 states that if a main building or other improvement does not have any signed written contracts or is not substantially under construction within 1 year or any other time limit set by the board, from the board's decision, the conditional use permit is to be brought back to the board at a public hearing to discuss whether extending the time limit, adding conditions, or revoking the permit.
Okay. You're stating the request is for an outdoor seating area of approximately 24 seats. Is that correct?
No, so that's the wrong case. We're looking at Dixie Highway case.
Okay. All right. Maximum seating.
I believe the inside was, did you say 3,000 square feet? There's like 6,000 square feet for entire space. Your kitchen was going to be, I think there was space for 400 or something like that on the inside for seating capacity.
Okay, those of
Maybe more.
you that are going to speak for or against, please stand and raise your right hand. Do we have anybody that's going to speak to this request? In other words, the request itself. All right, we'd like to swear you in. You swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God. All right, we want to ask that you come to the podium and state your reason for your request that you made to the city, okay?
First, I am not Lee. I am the partner.
Sir?
I am not Lee, I am the partner. I'm Clem Schaefer, co-owner. The reason for the request, as I recall, or as I'm aware, this meeting tonight is for the variance for seating outside. And we were looking for a 40%, I believe it was, of an increase to 40% of the seating, which was 25%, correct?
Approximately how many people?
I would say, and again, I've been dealing with this directly. I would say seating outside would be 50 to 60, we're around 60, tops 50 to 60. The whole design has not been nailed down yet. We haven't been able to do anything yet. We're waiting for all this to happen. So the exact numbers I can't tell you, but that's a ballpark.
The property itself, going out back to the rear for
Yes,
the
sir.
seating, that's open air seating,
Right.
no coverage, no
Well,
coverage.
it will be covered.
It will be covered.
If you're familiar, if you're out the back of the building, the Kroger, but we are directly to the left of the Kroger building. That comes out another, Kroger building extends another 50 feet maybe, and from our point. That area would be our patio. We have to reconstruct the building, and that portion would be covered.
Is it intent and purpose to cover it and then throw heat out there to where it can be used?
The intent right now, we're trying to, we have Garzelli's in Edgewood right now, if you're familiar with that or not. We have a large outdoor seating area. That's what we're trying to reconstruct. It's not going to be as big. It can't be. The space doesn't allow it. We're going to cover it. The it will be covered. That's going to happen. As far as heating or anything like that, that would have to be, I would guess, a roll down plastic and something like that, just to keep out some weather. As far as structural walls, no, we don't plan to do that.
All right, another question.
Okay.
The square footage involved in this, is that additional square footage that's being leased for use with the property?
The outside portion,
Yes, sir.
that is included in what we're talking about right now with
But
the
it's
owners.
already been leased by you all.
We've already signed the lease on that with provisions. We need to get some things done. We have the lease in place, providing everything else goes well.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I've got a question.
Yes.
What is, in your restaurant now, what is the capacity of the outdoor seating?
Outdoor seating right now, I think there are roughly 60 places outside.
And you're asking for 60 at this one? I thought you said it would be less.
Well, I'm thinking it will be a smaller area. I'm thinking it will be a little bit less. The way it's set up right now, it's a pretty wide area. We can't use some. We have to spread out the tables, redesigning some of that so that we're not on a slant. we can take more advantage of the space, and it's probably gonna be close, 50 to 60, I would think.
Is that going to interfere any with the drive around behind there?
With what, sir?
Extend into the driveway?
With the driveway, no. We're going to have to construct a fencing with so that cars cannot interfere with the tables. But the driveway and the parking area, there's a lane of parking behind that as well. It will not interfere with that at all. It's not at all.
Question, now, 25% is what is allowed,
Yes.
and you're asking for 40%?
We were asking for 40%.
Okay, that is not included in our request. It's just, the way I read this, the only thing that's requested is just for permission for the outdoor dining.
Okay. Right now, council has approved, we have a text amendment going before the Kenton County Planning Commission next week that's going to increase the percentage from 25 to 40. Kenton County Planning Commission is going to hear it, it'll be brought back before council with a recommendation, and council at that point will make a ruling on it. So this is stuff, it is being in the works to be worked on.
So our portion of this, we don't have anything to do with the percentage that's being okayed. We're just here to okay or not the outdoor seating.
I don't believe that, since this is not a dimensional number, that this is something the board can rule on, of increasing the density of the seating today.
It's hard to vote on that if you don't know how much they're increasing to, or how many seats
Well,
they're
right,
requesting.
right now, the space empty is 6,000 square feet. I think Lee has said something about 2,000 to 3,000 square feet for the kitchen.
There's a considerable amount for kitchen, back areas, coolers, that whole thing. There's
So
a
that,
considerable amount.
if we go 3,000 square feet, that gives you 200 seats on the inside, maximum capacity, which will allow 50 seats outside at the 25%.
And his request is for 40%, which you're looking at 50 to 60, and 50 has already been approved.
No, 50 is before you tonight. If we go with, say, 3,000 square feet of seating area, that'll be 3,000 square feet will give you 200 seats on the inside. And then a quarter of that would be 50, which is what the maximum it is today for the outdoor seating. If you go with the 40%, with the 200 seats on the inside, it'll give you 80,
Which is not,
which you said.
that would be a maximum allowable
Right.
for what you're doing. There's no way we can do that.
Right, so it sounds like 60 is going to be their maximum, just they're restricted by space on the outside. And 60 might be, as you said, might be pushing it at this point.
So what are you saying our max would be?
Max today, if we go with the 3,000 square feet of seating on the, worth is able to, 3,000 square feet of seating area on the inside, the maximum outside would be 50.
Maximum outside is 50 seats.
Today with the 25%.
Okay. And what are you saying? What's the request? For what are we asking for?
Well, it sounds like the 50 will work for now,
50 more now?
but this council will be considering a text amendment to increase from 25% to 40%, which in this case, with the 3,000 square feet of seating area, will be 80 seats on the outside. And the way Mr. Schaefer's talking, 80 is going to be way too much for the amount of area they have to actually put seating in because of the way that the setup in the back with the driveway and other parking spaces for the neighboring tenants. And then I
Should
guess,
council pass that, would they have to make a request for the additional 20 seating, or?
they would have to come back before the board to go up above the 25%, whatever the number ends up being, yeah.
Any question? Anybody else have any questions? You have any additional comments?
Not at this point, no.
All right, well, thank you, and then we'll go from there. And gentlemen, anybody else out here that was going to speak for or against? All right, that being said, a motion's in order.
I'll make a motion to grant the application of Mr. Fred L. Ramsey to construct the outdoor seating area with the requirements stated in the staff report within 1 year of the date of the board's decision. The granting of this conditional use permit will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare, will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity, will not cause a hazard or a nuisance to the public, and will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of the requirements of the zoning regulations. The motion shall be pursuant to the factual determinations from the evidence provided, including without limitation, the staff report, which is hereby determined to be accurate.
Now, before we take a second on that, Mr. Stewart, is that guideline by limiting the amount of seating? If it's in other words, going according to what the staff report is and what's being said, the maximum seating out there can be how much? 25%?
25%, yes.
Is that in your in other words, that would be in your motion?
With a maximum seating of 25% currently.
Second.
All right. Motion been made and seconded. Any other comments or discussion? If not, roll call vote, Mr. Stewart.
Ms. Peters,
Yes.
Mr. Molly,
No,
Mr. Conley,
Yes.
Mr. Newsom.
Yes. All right, thank you. Motion carries.
I'm not sure what we're voting on.
Mr. Stewart, we have your second request of the evening, please.
Yes, sir. Second request is from Mr. Matt Bain, who represents the Dries Company, who owns the property at 3453 Turkey Foot Road, and they request a dimensional variance from the height requirements of the sign regulations. The site's located on Turkey Foot Road, just south of Southway Ridge, and is currently vacant. All of the adjoining properties to the north have detached single-family residence, with the lot to the south being vacant. Most of the subject property and the properties to the north and south are within the residential 1E zone. The first 160 feet from Turkey Foot Road is within the residential 1F zone. Both zones allow single-family residential dwellings, detached and qualified manufactured homes. Direction 2030, the area-wide comprehensive plan update, which was adopted by the Kent County Planning Commission in September 2014, recommended land use plan identifies a reference site as well as all the surrounding properties for residential uses with a density of 4.1 to 7.0 dwelling units per net acre. The reference property and the two properties to the south are proposed to become the second phase of Enclave at Southridge subdivision with detached single-family residences. The applicant is proposing to install a 7-foot 2-inch high subdivision sign with an area of 14 square feet. Section 14.8D1 states that a permanent neighborhood monument sign shall be a maximum of 50 square feet in area and not to exceed 6 feet in overall height. The applicant is requesting a height variance of 1 foot 2 inches.
Okay. Height variance of 1 foot 2 inches, and I believe the sign itself is approximately 3.5 foot square. You know, in other words, the depth and length is the same. Okay, those of you who are going to speak for or against, please stand and raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Would you just come forward and state your reason for your request, please?
Matt Maines with the Dries Company, 211 Grandview. Mainly, I'm just here to answer questions. Like you said, we are asking for a variance from the height from the 6 foot to a 7 foot 2 inches. We're going with more of a vertical sign here as opposed to the more horizontal sign that's in the first section, just to give it a little different look. And we just wanted a little extra height to so the scale of the lettering is just more aesthetically pleasing to what we're looking for. It's going to be about the same materials as the previous sign, so the brick, some stone on the base, and it's going to be about 13 feet off off the right-of-way, off the sidewalk of Turkey Foot Road. So it's plenty back to where it's not going to cause any sightline issues or any problem turning in or turning out or any other problems there. It's going to be lit with some just low voltage lighting from down below, and there's not any moving parts or anything on it.
The sign with the writing on it, what is it? What is that, stone?
The actual, it'll look like stone. It's probably going to be like a sign foam. It's what you see a lot of the signs made out now. It'll probably look more like a limestone than it'll be black with etched silver lettering on it. It'll be very similar to, I have a picture of the previous sign here, of the current sign. So that's what the one looks like out there. It'll be very similar in the way it looks as far as the brick and stone and the black with silver lettering on it.
Okay.
What is the height, oh, I'm sorry.
Pardon?
Just want to know the height on the current side.
The current sign, I'm not sure, it's under 6. We didn't have to get a
Yeah.
variance for it, so it's probably right at 6.
Okay.
And the new one's 7 foot 2 or
Yes.
something? Fine. Be lit on all 4 sides?
It's going to be on 2 sides is where the sign's going to be. So there'll be one facing Turkey Foot and one facing, I guess, north. So from the south side, there's a kind of a berm being built there, and you really won't be able to see it anyway.
All right. Just for information purposes, the sign, how many units are going to be back in there?
19,
19.
yes.
Is that where the old fishing lake was at?
I'm sorry?
Is that where the old fishing lake was at, the Monkey's Fishing Lake or what?
There's a lake in between the previous section and the new section. It's still there. It's not
Okay.
been touched.
So there'll be 19 units back in there? Okay. All right, anybody got any questions of this gentleman relative to his sign? If not?
Thank you.
All right, we'll close the discussion then. Anybody else speak for or against? Okay, then we'll close all discussion and a motion's in order.
I'd like to go ahead and make the motion to grant the application to Mr. Matt Main to construct the proposed subdivision entrance sign to a maximum overall height of 7 feet 2 inches. The granting of this variance will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare, will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity, will not cause a hazard or a nuisance to the public. and will not allow unreasonable circumvention of the requirements of the zoning regulation. The motion shall be pursuant to the factual determination from the evidence provided, including without limitation, staff report, which is hereby determined to be accurate.
All right, motion been made. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, motion been made and second. Roll call vote, Mr. Stewart.
Mr. Molly,
Yes.
Mr. Conley,
Yes?
Ms. Peters,
Yes.
Mr. Newsom.
Yes. Motion carried. Mr. Stewart, your next request for the evening, please.
Our third request for tonight is from a Mr. Brian O'Hara, who owns the property at 408 Hallam Avenue, and he's looking for a dimensional variance from the requirements of the minimum required side yard setback regulations. The site is located on Hallam Avenue, about halfway between Mary Street and Terrace Drive, and currently has a detached single-family residence. All of the adjoining properties currently have a detached family residences, with the property to the northeast being a cemetery. The subject property and all of the adjoining properties are within the residential 1G zone, which allows single-family dwelling units, detached and qualified manufactured homes. Direction 2030, the area-wide comprehensive plan adopted by the Kent County Planning Commission in September 2014, the recommended land use plan identifies the reference site as well as all the surrounding properties for residential uses with a density of 4.1 to 7.0 dwelling units per net acre. On July 22nd, 1996, this board approved a request by Mr. O'Hara to construct a deck 1 foot from the left property line. The minimum side yard setback was 5 feet at the time. On November 22nd, 2004, the board approved a request by Mr. O'Hara to construct a porch and breakfast area addition on the front of the house, 24 feet, 4 inches from the front property line. The minimum front yard setback was 30 feet. The applicant is proposing to construct a deck at the end of the driveway at the right side property line, 0 setback distance. Section 10.7 D4 states that the minimum side yard setback shall be 5 feet, so the request is a variance of 5 feet.
Okay, for clarification, the driveway is on the left side of this house,
Driveway's on the right side,
on the right side.
correct?
So in other words, then the deck is to go at the end of the driveway,
Yeah, it would look like an extension to the driveway.
right at the back.
Yes, sir.
So the driveway comes over to or within so many inches of the property line now, is that correct?
The driveway, from what I was told, is up against the property line also.
Up against the property line. So he's asking to build, what, 16-foot?
It'll be 16 foot deep and 19 foot 6 wide.
So it'd go 18 foot further back,
It'll be 16 foot
16
further back,
and 18 with the driveway.
19 6 wide.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Those of you that are going to speak for or against, please stand and raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right. Would you come forward and state your reason for your request, please? State your request and the reason for it.
Hi, I'm Brian O'Hara. I'm the owner of 408 Hallam. Like I said, the driveway right now is probably about 4 or 5 foot up in the air. It's on blocks. What I want to do is just extend the deck so it's kind of like straight, because I've already got approved for a fence to go around the property. But while I'm doing that, I just wanted to build a deck just so we have a nice view of the backyard or whatever. And the 19 foot 6 is the width of the driveway right now.
Okay.
The 16 foot back, is actually, just to go back.
So the 19.6 takes you right to the property line.
From the corner of the house or whatever to the property line is 19 foot 6, I believe. And I just want to go, like I said, the driveway's obviously level. I just want to go straight back off the driveway.
And the backside is gonna be how far off the ground?
The backside of the deck,
Yeah.
I want to say probably at the most, it's pretty level back there. Maybe, I mean, it's probably 5 foot now, or let's say about 5 foot. So you're looking by, at the most, 6 or 7 feet.
So that's your purpose for showing the railing.
Yes,
You have to have railing all the way around.
exactly.
On all four sides.
Yes.
Well,
Well,
not four
three,
sides, three
three
sides.
sides.
Not
And I want to
four.
extend the railing where the driveway is now, just, just for protection, because it is like, it goes down, there's a hill on the right side. I just want to kind of protect, make it look a little bit nicer and safer, and just, extend the railing up towards the front of the house, along the driveway side.
I assume as the door comes out on
Please.
a door comes out somewhere there on.
There's a garage, there's a two-car
On
garage.
the deck or on where the garage used to
Where
be?
the garage is on the side of the house, there's a two-car garage. And like I said, at the end of the house or whatever, there's a slant, like a sidewalk or whatever, to the backyard. So I won't need no steps or anything like that. It would just be, like I said, it'd just be a deck with 3 railings.
Anybody have any questions, other questions for him? All right, thank you. Anybody else?
Thank you.
In the audience to address this issue? If not, we'll close it. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, a motion's in order.
I'd like to make a motion. Make a motion to grant the application of Mr. Brian O'Hara to construct a deck at the right side of the property line, 0 setback distance. The granting of this variance shall not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare, will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity, will not cause a hazard and a nuisance to the public, will not unreasonably allow circumvention of the requirements of the zoning regulations. The motion shall be pursuant to the faculty determination and the evidence provided, including without limitation the staff report, which is hereby determined to be accurate.
Okay, second to the motion?
I'll second.
All right. Any discussion? No discussion, being none? Roll call vote, Mr. Stewart.
Mr. Conley,
Yes?
Ms. Peters,
Yes.
Mr. Molly,
Yes.
Mr. Newsom.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Stewart, I believe you have one other request for the evening.
Yes, sir. Our fourth request is from Mr. Luis Diaz Leon, the owner of El Ocho Loco, which is located it's on the property of 619 Stevenson Road. The address of the restaurant is 621 Stevenson Road, and he's asking for a conditional use permit to add outdoor seating for his restaurant. The site is located on Stevenson Road at the intersection of Kimberly Drive and Stevenson Road, and currently has 2 tenants in the building. The tenant on the right is a convenience store with fuel pumps, and the applicant has the restaurant on the left. The property to the northwest is a grocery store with a vacant tenant space on the left. The properties to the west, southwest, and south have apartment buildings. The property to the southeast is a strip center with multiple tenants. The properties to the north and northeast have single-family dwellings detached. The subject property, grocery store, and strip center are within the neighborhood shopping center zone. The apartment buildings are in the residential 3 zone, and the single-family dwellings are detached or within the residential 1F zone. Neighborhood shopping center zone permits a variety of retail and personal service uses. The zone also conditionally permits taverns with conditions and outdoor dining areas with conditions. Direction 2030, the area-wide comprehensive plan update adopted by the Kent County Planning Commission in September of 2014. The recommended land use plan identifies the reference site, grocery store, and strip center as commercial uses. The single-family properties identified as residential uses with a density of 4.1 to 7.0 dwelling units per net acre, and the apartment properties are identified as residential uses with a density of 14.1 to to 30 dwelling units per net acre. The applicant is proposing to add outdoor seating on the side of the building at the reference address. Section 10.16C2 states that an outdoor dining area is conditionally permitted provided the area meets the following requirements. That the area shall be designed to clearly identify the limits of the outdoor seating area, which shall not include any drive-through facility. Such area shall not exceed 25% of the maximum seating capacity of the indoor seating area. Entertainment, music, and sound amplifying systems shall not be permitted within the outdoor seating areas. Such areas should not be permitted to locate within any minimum front, side, or rear yard except where a variance has been approved by the Board of Adjustments. If the outdoor seating areas are to be located within 340 feet of any residence, then the seating areas shall not be operated no later than 10 o'clock p.m. on Sunday through Thursday, inclusive, and no later than 11 o'clock p.m. on Friday and Saturday. The applicant has installed a barrier that identifies the limits of the outdoor seating area. The applicant has been made aware of the maximum seating area of the outdoor space. The outdoor seating area exceeds the minimum property line setbacks. The closest residence is approximately 75 feet from the outdoor and seating area. This means the seating area will need to close by 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 11 p.m. Friday and Saturday. And KRS 102.237.3 states that if a main building or other improvement does not have a signed written contract or is not substantially under construction within 1 year or other time limits set by the board, from the board's decision, the conditional use permit is to be brought back to the board at a public hearing to discuss either extending the time limit, adding conditions, or revoking the permit.
Okay, this is similar to the one that we just visited earlier. Seating capacity, Mr. Stewart, 25% of the inside area?
I did some calculations, and it looks like there's about a maximum seating area of 24 seats inside, so they'll give you 6 seats outside.
So there'll be 6 seats outside and 24 seats inside. As of right now.
That's the maximum that they can have on site. I don't think there's 24 in there now, but they allow up to 24 seats according to the building code regulations.
And then if the council should approve up to 40%, they can come back and get an additional.
They could add more at that point, yes.
Yeah. Now, okay. Those of you who are going to speak for or against, please stand and raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, would you step forward and state your name and your reason for your request, please?
My name is Luis Diaz. We're trying to open a patio beside the restaurant and to get more business, you know. Yeah.
Question, how many seats are you requesting in the outdoor seating area?
Thinking like 24, 25 for outside.
And it allows for 6.
Based on my calculations, yeah, he's allowed to have a maximum of 24 inside, so 25% of that would be 6.
And then also, I believe I'm correct in stating that the residential part of it for housing is within less than 100 feet of the back of it.
Yeah, 340, less than 340 feet.
So there could not be any music or anything out there.
Well, music's not permitted at all, no matter what distance, at this point. I think that's another item in the proposed text amendment. So the only condition that would fall under that less than 340 feet is the time limit of service
The
outside,
hours.
the hours of
That would
operation
Drop off at 10 o'clock
during the week,
and 11 o'clock on Saturday night.
Friday and Saturday, yes.
You're aware of that?
Yes, sir.
Again, is this open air seating?
They have a patio with a roof over it, so it's open on 3 sides. The fourth side being the building. And they have a wall up around, a low wall around defining the area for seating. And I think they're gonna be installing some gates on the 2 openings.
So in other words, is the ingress and egress through the building and through the restaurant?
It'd be through the restaurant. They just installed a door
Yes, sir.
to allow the customers access to the patio.
Right.
It's on the left side of the building,
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
as you face it.
The restaurant's on the left, and then this outdoors on the left.
Yeah, okay. Right, all right.
I think if I'm correct, it is at least additional square footage from whoever has all of that property in order to put an outdoor seating there, you know, in that area. That's an exception to the building itself, where the restaurant is. Anybody else have any questions, this gentleman?
Do you have outdoor seating now? Is there tables outside currently?
Yeah, but nobody sit there.
Anybody sits there? So are we voting on the 25 seats or just for 6 seats? Because the application says 25, but only allowed for 25%?
I have a question, Mr. Stewart. It seems like we're getting the cart before the horse, that we kind of should be waiting for council to make their approval of that text amendment before we come in and vote on seating, in terms of how many or what's going to be allowed there.
That option was given to the first applicant up at Silver Lake Shopping Center, and they chose to go ahead now to get things moving on the outdoor seating. They're aware of that council is considering the change to the text amendment. It's already in the process. Like I said, the public hearing will be here next Thursday, I believe, the week from this Thursday.
So basically, the same thing applies here.
It's
If the
20
text amendment is approved, then we're looking at 24 seats inside and 24 seats outside.
No, it'd only be 40%
Only
of
be
24.
10 seats outside. Maximum 10. 24 in, 10 out.
It will give you 10, yeah, roughly.
The written motion in here states that, you know, the states that we're following the required, staff, the requirements of, that's being held to, so that, actually, the motion says that, you know, we're following all the restrictions of the sound and the size and everything else. So if anything other than that, we're not really voting on, is that?
In my interpretation of the KRS, under the Board of Adjustment stuff, that this does not fall under as a dimension that you can make a ruling on for numbers. This is just a percentage of, if they only allow the 500 square foot outdoors area, then you could rule on that they could make it 1,000 square feet or whatever. But for the density of seating outside, I don't believe that this falls under the, as a dimensional variance. Because the definition for a variance in Kentucky is based on length, height, width, and the area. So a calculated number, or a dimensional number, measurement,
Not a percentage.
not a percentage of seats or anything like that.
Are we just voting on them having outdoor seating?
Provided it meets the current regulations, which is the 25%.
That's already allowed.
25% is allowable as part of the conditions to come before the board to get permission to have outdoor seating.
But to kind of clarify what he's saying, for you to determine that 25%, there's a certain square footage per person.
There's,
That determines.
for tables and chairs, is 15 square feet per person.
So in other words, what I'm saying is that by that being in that, then that predetermines that as of right now, even if his motion passes, he can only have 6 people out there. And then if the council, should vote to go to 40%, then he could have 10. That's all we're looking.
Right. But that, I believe, since the
But he would have to come back to get his other rule.
that's our staff's interpretation, that he would have to come back to get the additional 4 seats.
Okay. Any other questions? No other questions? Thank you, and the motion's in order.
I'd like to go ahead and make a motion. I want to make a motion to grant the application of Mr. Luis Diaz-Leon to install the outdoor seating with the requirements stated in the staff report within 1 year of the board's decision. The granting of this conditional use permit will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare, will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity, will not cause a hazard or a nuisance to the public, will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of the requirements of the zoning regulations. The motion shall be pursuant of the factual determinations from evidence provided, including without limitation, the staff report, which is hereby determined to be accurate.
All right, you've heard the motion. There's a second.
I'll make a second.
All right, the motion been made and second. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, Mr. Stewart.
Ms. Peters?
Yes.
Mr. Conley?
Yes?
I didn't hear that. Mr. Conley, could you repeat that, please?
Yes?
Yes. Mr. Molly?
I'm still as confused, so no.
Okay. Mr. Newsom?
Yes. Motion carried. Mr. Stewart, do you have any other information or requests this evening, please?
There are no more requests this evening, sir.
All right, with that being said, anything for the committee?
I believe we have at least one for next month, so
All right.
get to see you in 30 days.
Thanksgiving was on the 28th, so you pretty well covered any Monday night all the way through on it. I guess later Monday night, which would be 5th? 25th?
25th it is, yes.
What?
25th will be the meeting night.
Yeah, okay, well, fine. All right, motion's in order to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you.